Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Here in Hollywood Avenue, the Walk of Fame, baby. One of the most famous places in the world. People from all over the world come here. But California is traditionally very blue, very democratic, and Los Angeles as a city is very, very blue. Safe to say there's a bunch of Kamala Harris supporters here. Hey, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala.
Kamala. Kamala Harris.
Kamala.
Got a couple challenging questions I'm going to ask these people. This doesn't mean that I'm biased. I have no agenda with this video. I have other videos where I ask Donald Trump supporters challenging questions. I just want to give people a voice, an opportunity to defend their choice. So let's go ask some people why they're voting for Kamala Harris. Why?
I just feel like she represents what I stand for.
What do you stand for?
Well, I'm trans. A lot of the policies that Trump wants to pass are against trans rights. Kamala stands for trans people, so that is why.
What policies that Trump stands for are against trans people?
In just certain states that they are trying to, there's more discrimination. He's trying to push discrimination against trans people, so it's unsafe for them to be in public. And also, as far as hormones,
she is a good representation of what we need in terms of, change.
So what do you mean by that? If you want to change in a new direction, wouldn't that signify kind of electing someone else? You've got been in the White House for a while. So if we get to
I think that's a fair point, but I think the job of the vice president differs from the job of the president. Kamala Harris.
Why?
She's not Donald Trump. It's the only option we have.
The sort of things that Kamala says makes me feel happy and hopeful about the future and humanity and sort of fostering love and kindness amongst our own community.
Really, it's kind of like anyone but Trump at this point. Being a queer couple in America, we have to vote for someone who aligns more with, what we stand for and what we believe in.
So focusing on queer and gay rights more important than focusing on the economy or focusing on ending the wars or maybe the immigration crisis?
Yes, not only queer rights, but women's rights as well.
I double down on that. He's also a rapist and he's a thief, and Kamala is so smart and she can do a lot of good for the world, and I'm also pro-choice, and Donald Trump is pro-life, so.
I think that one has an affinity for evading the law, and I feel that one was a prosecutor and one stands for free speech and freedom in America.
Mark Zuckerberg recently admitted that he was pressured by the government under Joe Biden's government to censor information regarding Hunter Biden, the laptop, all that stuff, during the 2020 election. So a lot of people view that kind of Trump is more of the free speech candidate because a lot of big tech companies and VCs out of Silicon Valley are backing Kamala Harris. It seems like it's more an extension of censorship on social media. Were you aware of that?
I was, and I was also aware of the fact that Elon Musk is paying people to vote for Donald Trump, which is, again, interference in the election.
Trump has said that he would appoint Elon Musk to this government oversight efficiency organization. Do you think that that's something that could be a good thing, considering he's, I guess, the most successful entrepreneur of our time? He's taken many businesses to multi-billion-dollar capitalizations through his efficiency practices. Do you think that could be beneficial, or do you just not like Elon at all?
Regardless of my personal stance on him, I do see that he's a businessman and he's accomplished a lot. But no, I don't think that appointing billionaires into a position of power in our government is good.
She's in favor of Roe versus Wade, and I just think we need a woman in charge to run this country.
Marilyn, why were you voting for Kamala Harris this go around? First woman president? Yeah, pro-abortion rights, pro-choice? That's what I thought.
I don't know yet. I just know it's not Donald Trump.
Not Donald Trump.
Not Donald Trump.
You voting for Kamala?
Yeah,
Why is that?
because she's not Trump.
Because she's not Trump? That's the only reason?
That's the only reason.
All right.
Mostly because I think that in terms of preservation of democracy, I do think that she is the better candidate.
Why are you trying to get me set up out here? Trump, though.
Oh, okay. How was Kamala Harris the candidate of democracy when she didn't receive one primary vote in the Democratic primary in 2020, many people argue that she was just kind of hand-placed there. You know, she actually wasn't democratically elected.
It's a fair question. The Democratic Party was scrambling to do the best that they could. I agree that it probably would have benefited from if we had a better system, but I do think it was a matter of a time crunch. So for me, I think that's something that I was aware of voting, but I think ultimately that she was the candidate, I did feel like I made the right choice at the end of the day.
What policies do you really get behind?
More so, I like the idea that I feel safe that my current safeties as a homosexual will be maintained.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a gay man and you're voting for Trump, you've got problems that I can't help you with.
What of Trump policies is harming to the gay community?
There was not necessarily it's Trump. However, he kind of is sowing a lot of mistrust in government agencies, and actually, as a result of some of his other policies, I know that there are sort of anti-gay adoption practices that are perpetuated under his regime, I'll say.
As far as I know, Trump hasn't done anything to attack the federal legalization of gay marriage. Or is there any particular policy that he's put forth that you're referring to, or you just mean like Republicans in general?
I don't know particular policies. I watch enough Fox News just understanding what's going on as a result of trying to be able to argue with my family.
Orange man bad.
Yes.
What would be the main reason you would vote for her? All right, y'all, for everyone out there who thinks I might be one-sided because I'm asking all these challenging questions to Kamala supporters, this is just the second half of a project that I'm doing. I've already recorded one in rural Georgia, Trump country, asking Trump supporters the tough questions. I'll leave the link below in the description of the video, so y'all go check that out and let me know what you think in both videos.
I think she's the most righteous choice. I'm in the music business. A lot of things that have gone on with Donald that just not as righteous.
I can't fathom voting for Donald Trump.
Why not?
Just because I think he's an ass.
Damn, I'm out here on Hollywood Boulevard looking for Kamala supporters, and look what's right behind me. It's a Trump stamp. I figured out why. Look, Donald Trump. Donald Trump's star on the Walk of Fame right here. So people want to change. Things are not happening the way they want them to go. The country's not going in the right direction.
Hormones, surgeries. They are trying to pass where they are stopping hormones for trans people.
Like puberty blockers?
Puberty blockers. I think there should be an age limit to where you can start your hormones.
What age do you think?
What age? So, like, personally, I would have done puberty blockers as early as I could because I knew who I was since I was a kid.
You do approve using tax dollars for gender-affirming care?
So, I couldn't afford some. I did have a gender-affirming surgery. As far as tax dollars, I mean, like, I believe that it is not mandatory, but something that the insurance should cover, just because it's not in your hands of what you're going to look like. She's supporting transgender affirming care for undocumented immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe we should focus on getting them documented first and then the transgender affirming care.
You see how a bunch of people would probably not support that, even if they're in support of the trans community.
I totally get it. For transgender care, it's such a big tax. Like, it's not taking that much money versus like other things that they're spending it on, which are probably unnecessary. I don't know what, but
like the wars, right? The wars in Gaza and Ukraine.
I'm Middle Eastern. Muslim, so exactly. They're sending lots and lots of money over there where it could be spent here for the American people.
What I understand, she locked up a bunch of people, and a lot of them are still in prison for marijuana charges, which now marijuana is legal. You know, how does that make sense?
Well, she came out and said a statement that she was going to reverse all that, and I'm not sure the source, but I saw it online.
So, what is your favorite policies of Kamala Harris's? Clearly, one of them is pro-abortion.
No.
This is for my YouTube.
I like that she's pro-choice. So that's important to me as a woman.
Yeah, I would say that's mine as well.
More important than ending the wars or the economy, you know, all the inflation that's been out of control. Just the pro-choice or not pro-choice.
No, it's everything. But oh man, I know you're on Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm not on Jimmy. That's cool. That's fine. We need a bunch of interviews, so we can just cut that one right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? There's something like they estimate 15 to 20 million illegal immigrants, undocumented people have crossed into the country, and a lot of people think that they're doing that to kind of move them around to swing states to swing the vote in the Democratic favor. Do you think that that's a problem? Do you think that we need to increase our border security?
The asylum seekers that are allowed in, if you're asking me that she's allowing those in for her votes so that she can be, is that what the question?
That's what a lot of people say. Could we say that LGBTQ rights for you guys is the most important issue on the ballot instead of like economy, like the wars, inflation?
I think it feels more like human rights than it does LGBTQ rights. I mean, those are definite issues that need to be addressed specifically, but it's about everyone and making everyone feel like this is our country, whether you're Democrat, whether you're Republican, whether you're atheist. I mean, it doesn't matter. Everyone should be taken care of.
You said it's more about human rights and about everyone as a country coming together and everyone benefiting. So just to play devil's advocate, food under the Biden-Harris administration is up 20%. Gas is...
That is what I just said is a corporations have increased the price of their, the grocery stores have increased the price of their goods, causing record level profits. So they're kind of price gouging us. That's sort of research that's come out too. So that is a corporate decision from those companies exploiting the inflation that is worldwide. So
that affects all of us. That affects all of us, right?
It affects us most directly.
This price gouging, this corporate hiking of prices in the supermarkets, this all has happened kind of under Kamala's watch as she's been in the White House the past 3.5 years. So voting for her, how would that change anything? Or you just hope that she will change it when she's kind of had the opportunity to the past couple of years?
I mean, she's a vice president. She's not in Congress. She's not the people who are kind of going against what the will of the people are doing in votes. She's kind of technically the president and vice president aren't entitled to do anything they want.
I'd rather, have more rights for women than worry about like the price of a gallon of gas,
Yeah, I would just have to say that for me personally, I do think that human rights is something that's worth fighting for over something like the economy for sure, because these are people's lives that we're talking about, someone's well-being that we're talking about.
So the single most important issue on this ballot, what would it be?
I think basic human rights, and I think reproductive rights is under that.
Cool. More important than the economy, more important than wars, more important than the migrant crisis, more important than inflation?
I think those are all important, but I actually think that there are a lot of macroeconomic indicators that the economy under Biden's administration has actually been improved compared to Trump's administration.
Even people who are pro-immigration, they just want more secure borders and they're a little worried about who's coming into the country. There's been no vetting. Lots of people are in the country and no one knows who they are. And is that an issue to you or not really?
Well, it's an issue to me if they're criminals coming in.
It seems like she's such a politician, though. It seems like she doesn't really ever answer the question, like ever. She kind of just talks in circles and doesn't really have much substance to what she says. Do you agree with that?
Political issues are very complicated, and Donald Trump is a liar, so he just lies and oversimplifies it. So it's easy to lie and oversimplify things.
Do you think that the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris really didn't know about Joe Biden's mental kind of cognitive decline until after the first debate with Trump? Because, they've been working together in the same office for 4 years. And, a lot of people think that it was all planned. And it was like, oh, surprise, now he's not fit to run again. Now we're going to put Kamala in. You know what I mean?
For me, I do feel like, I think I like her much, much more than Trump, such that everyone had to make compromises in how they voted. And I think that was one of the things that I personally was willing to compromise on.
We have the worst food compared to like other countries because other countries have tons of legislation around their food, right? When you travel to Europe, you don't have to eat organic and spend all this money there. One, because the food itself under the legislation is better.
What do you think about RFK Jr. endorsing Trump? Because that's his whole thing, you know, make America healthy again. He's the biggest proponent for getting all the additives and all the bullshit out of our food, and he just endorsed Trump.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that RFK, what he stands for, he believes. But again, Donald Trump will say anything to get into office. Whether he follows through on anything RFK plans to do, big question mark.
What about all the inflation, man? All the prices, everything's like 20-30% more expensive. All that's happened underneath Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's last couple years. You know, like, why would you vote for more of that?
It's their corporation. I'm not voting for more of that. I'm just, feel that because I'm a member of the corporation from my birth certificate, that I will support, because that's what we do in America.
What do you think Kamala Harris's best accomplishment has been as vice president these past couple years?
Well, I definitely think that her stance on reproductive rights is important.
So some people think that they need to get Trump back in. Other people think they got to get Kamala in because even though she's been in the White House, she represents a change to people. I don't know what this means.
And politics aside, like everyone needs to vote and you have to make a decision, and you can make it really educated or you can just make it based on your vibe.